And my message is that the conditions are very common, these variations, and they resolve with growth and do not require any so-called treatments. And this video provides more details of each condition. And the printed copies of this uh, message have been printed over 100,000 times and been used throughout the world and in 6 languages. The first topic is flat feet. And parents worry about their children's flat feet. But these are really normal in infants and a lot of children and adults. And if you look at the feet of different ages, you notice that the infant nearly all have flat feet from their footprint, and the arch gradually develops with time. But about 20% of adults don't have an arch as well, and if they have flexible flat feet, they can be strong and pain-free, and they don't cause any problems. And those who usually don't develop an arch tend to be loose-jointed. And if you're concerned about the arch in the infant, you can see that they have an arch by unweighting the foot, letting it dangle, and you have an arch. Or if the child stands and toe stands, then they develop an arch when that happens. So just as children have different heights, they also have different heights of their arch as well. So some are developed and some are fairly low and others are flat, and these are normal, just like variations of height. And also, did you know that putting various pads under the shoes really is just a waste of money? And we're concerned about the flat foot if it's stiff, and that's particularly a problem, or if it's very painful or very severe. And we're most concerned if the arch is very high, because these are the children that develop problems when they're adults or may have an underlying problem that's created the high arch. The next subject is in-toeing. And in-toeing is very common in childhood. And in infants often in-toe, like their footprints. And then the leg turns out gradually with growth, so that in mid-childhood they tend to be straight ahead. And in the late childhood or adult life, they tend to toe out a little bit. And in the infant, if they have in-toeing, it's usually due to 3 causes. The first is the so-called hooked foot, or metatarsus adductus. And this is due to tight intrauterine position, which contracts or constricts the foot. So that as the infant is free to move about, the foot straightens out over a period of about 12 months. So no treatment is necessary as it gets better on its own. And only in rare cases is any kind of treatment necessary. The most common problem is tibial torsion, as the tibia tends to turn out gradually with growth, and this is a normal developmental pattern. And if it's on one side, it's most likely on the left side. And again, no treatment is necessary because it's a normal variation. Another common problem for in-toeing is so-called femoral aneurysm syndrome, in which the legs turn in and the kneecaps turn in, and this is usually on both sides. And the children often sit this way. And in most cases, it's most severe about 4 or 5, 6 years of age. And yet generally it's outgrown in late childhood, so it's usually gone by the end of the first decade. And again, certain treatments are really not necessary. It's not necessary to change the sitting pattern, because this is because of the femoral aneurysm increase, not the cause of it. So hounding your child to change positioning is really not necessary or desirable. Another common problem are bow legs and knock knees. And again, there's a normal developmental pattern. And the infant tends to have knock knee or bow legs. And with growth, usually 4 to 6 or so, they become a little knock-kneed. And then they tend to straighten out over a period of time. So if these are the usual patterns and they're not excessive, it's not necessary to do anything about it, and special shoes and wedges and so forth don't really make any difference. And we're only concerned if it's very severe or if there's a problem with it. People often ask about shoes and what's best for the kid. Well, we do know that the barefooted people have the best feet, and so shoes should simulate going barefooted as much as possible. So the first thing, they should be as large enough so as to not cramp the foot. They should also be flexible, so the foot can move normally and the muscles can develop in a normal fashion. Also, the material, especially in hot climates, should be breathable, so it doesn't really cause sweating or discomfort in the child. And one should also avoid odd shapes, particularly the pointed toes and the high heels, because these can actually cause problems such as bunions. So in summary, most variations of normal are outgrown, and your doctor can be consulted if necessary to make sure that is going normally. And remember that the best thing you can do for your child is to encourage physical activity, avoid overeating, and remember that the so-called corrective devices don't really change anything and just make your child unhappy. So it's best to let the magic of time and growth solve the problem because Mother Nature's treatment is safe, inexpensive, and effective.